Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, I am very happy to be showing you the Tamashii Nation's 10th Anniversary World Tour SH Figuarts Son Goku KAIO-KEN version. This is the figure that was being sold exclusively through their special little presentation in New York this past weekend, and I had some people that were there that were going to try to get me one if they could, since I couldn't go to New York for it, obviously, and that all fell through. I was stuck thinking I wasn't going to get one. Then, lo and behold, a buddy of mine says, "Hey, I have a gift I'm sending you. Look out for this gift." I'm like, hey, okay, cool, thanks a lot. And then it's this. I had no idea it was this, and I have to say I'm so very thankful for that. It's a heck of a thing he did. So, Jamie, I really do appreciate it. Thanks a ton, man. I wasn't going to get one otherwise, so this is awesome. So now I get to review it, and I get the figure, so I'm super jazzed. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about let's say 6.5 inches to the top of his hair, only about 5 3/4 to the top of his head. That makes him just about, let's say 14.5 to the top of the head and about 16.5 to the top of the hair. So this is basically the same as the SDCC Goku, which is basically the same as the original Goku, except he does have the belt and he does have the logos on his back. Obviously, he's recolored to be red, but he does also come with the aura effect accessory. So there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about, but I'm going to run through it just briefly anyway, so you guys know what you're going to get in the package if you do happen to be able to track one of these down, or if you're going to make it to one of the other events that they're having. So before we get into the figure anymore, let's go ahead and do the accessories. We do have 3 interchangeable faces. We have the one standard face, we have the one with his teeth gritted and he looks pretty angry, and then we have the one where he's yelling. And they are all done very well. So then we have a bunch of different hands. We have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. One hand for doing an instant transmission pose, 2 open palm hands, 2 martial arts hands, 2 with his fingers kind of clenched, and then 2 with his hands very wide open with his fingers all the way out. We do have 1 charged Kamehameha accessory, which is very nice looking. I have to say, they did a great job with the clear plastic with the red shading for the outright pieces. The inside piece does look a little bit milky, but it's not too bad. It looks okay. And then he comes with the aura effect, which is what we've seen before, but this one is obviously pink and clear, and I think this is probably the best looking out of all of them. The other ones weren't shaded the best. They looked a little weird in some cases. This one's very nicely done. It's got really nice vibrance, and it's nice and translucent. So I'm very happy about that. Now, as far as the figure goes, it's not much new. It's just the same figure with new shading, but they did a really good job with that red and pink and white shading. I was worried when they announced this. I was thinking that they were probably going to have a tough time getting that shading to look good, and they did a really good job. You see it, the way they did it, they have a lot of the white coming down from the top so that the dark parts are underneath, and it kind of makes it look like the light is actually shining from the top, and then the dark parts are where the shadows would be naturally. So they did a really good job. It's darker on the insides than on the outsides. Normally when you get a figure that's shaded like this, it's not especially well done, and this one is surprisingly well done. I'm very impressed by that. The skin does have a slight change to it. It's mostly noticeable in the face and neck, maybe a little bit at the tops of the shoulders, but there is a little bit of pink shading going on, so that's pretty cool. And then the hair, it does have some purple shading, so they just nailed it. They pretty much got all of the things that they needed to get. And of course, he's got it might technically be really dark purple, but the black undershirt rather than blue, and then the black belt and gloves or wrist things, and then the feet are different colored, of course. It all looks as it should. The only thing that's a little iffy maybe is that the logo is kind of grayish, where it should have been white. So same thing on the front, it's gray. I'm not sure, maybe that's how it was drawn. I assumed it would have been pink though, since white with red light on top would have been kind of pinkish, but that's a tiny detail, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm very happy with how it looks. So let's go ahead and run through the articulation very quickly, and then we'll call it a wrap, since we've seen this figure a ton of times at this point. The head is on a ball hinge, so it's a straight peg going into the neck. Then we have the hinge, and then a ball peg going up to the top of the head. So you can move the head around on top of that top peg very well. And then you have the hinge, which will allow him to look forward and back. Or if you pop the head off and rotate it around, it can be side to side. Ball peg would have been better, just a standard double ball peg, but the hinge works well enough. It's okay. Then the neck itself is on a ball peg, and this one actually moves very nicely. It almost feels like they went through and reworked the articulation in some cases. because in some places where it used to be kind of stiff or loose, it's not anymore. It might just be coincidence, I don't know, but this mold is it's a lot more appealing on this figure. I don't know, it just works better, except for the shoulders. Really, they're still ugly, but otherwise it's okay. So we have the little sleeve pieces that are on a little tiny ball peg to move around. Then we have the big ball peg that goes into the torso, which is kind of hidden by that cap in there. So these will just move around all the way on that. And then you have the hinge for the arm itself, which brings the arm out very nicely. You have your bicep swivel, which works very well. And of course you can rotate the arm around, no problem there. Double jointed elbow gives you really nice range. I'm very pleased with that. And then for the wrist, it's really the same joint as the neck. It's just a little tiny ball hinge, so you get really nice range on that. For the torso, we have a ball peg that goes into the top. He can kind of extend to give him greater range, so that's really nice. So you can move around very well on that ball peg. It does create gaps, but the floating belt hides them, and you should probably just push him back down. Then you won't have any gaps. And then for the hips, we have hinged ball pegs, so you can drop the legs down. Wow, it's very stiff on this one. So you can drop the leg down, and that will give you pretty good range going forward, though it does bring the leg out at a bit of an angle due to the sculpt of the crotch. You can bring the legs out pretty far to the side. Works very nicely, actually. Surprisingly good, given that it's a really old design, so that's good. Then, of course, we still do have our thigh swivel. So very nice range overall there. For our knees, we have this really ugly design that we're super happy that they're getting rid of. However, the newest designs that they've showed us don't necessarily look that much better. You only get a little bit better than 90, and it is very ugly from the front. Now, we did see that new Super Saiyan 3 Goku at the same event, and those knees look a little iffy. Not sure what's up with that, but I guess we'll see by the time it finally comes out. Then lastly, we have a ball peg for the ankle, which is definitely not the best design. Definitely a little bit dated at this point, but it'll give you a little bit of range forward and back, a little bit of an ankle rocker, and then we do have a toe hinge, which is very minimal. So ultimately, it's not an entirely impressive figure other than the paint job, but that's why you're getting this one. It's for the paint job. So I'm super happy to have it, other than the circumstances of how I got it. Just the figure alone, objectively speaking, I'm very happy to add this to my collection. As far as this old body mold goes, they did a great job repurposing it, and it's just a very, very aesthetically pleasing figure. Add in the accessories, and it's a home run. So again, I'm super happy to have it, so thanks a lot, Jamie. I really do appreciate it. And there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you turn on that little notification bell so you don't miss any of that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.